Hello and welcome. This week we are journeying together to the cross. This week is known as the Holy Week, the most significant week in the Christian Church's calendar. Today we are looking at an incident of Jesus clearing the temple. When Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a foal of a donkey, he went immediately to the temple. What did Jesus do? Well, Mark says that he went into the temple and he looked around carefully, but because it was getting late, he left. What he saw must have really upset him, for we are told that when Jesus left Bethany in the morning, he arrived back into the temple. Luke wrote this in chapter 19, verse 45 and onwards. Then Jesus entered the temple and began to drive out the people selling animals for sacrifices. He said to them, "The scriptures declare, 'My temple will be a house of prayer,' but you have turned it into a den of thieves." After that he taught daily in the temple. But the leading priests, the teachers of religious law, and the other leaders of the people began planning how to kill him. But they could not think of nothing, because all the people hung on every word he said. The full deity of Jesus is evident during this Holy Week. Now, I appreciate that the deity of Christ is hard to understand. However, we do see both Christ's human side and his God side. Jesus knew that being Monday, his death now was only just days away. Full of emotion of this, plus being so angry at what was happening in God's temple, led him to drive out those sellers. With crowds of people arriving for the Passover, money changers and merchants did big business. They both charged over and above what was standard. Their stalls were set up in the temple court of the Gentiles, making it impossible for non-Jews to spend any time in worship. According to Isaiah chapter 56, it was God's design for Gentiles to come and pray in the temple. Jesus became angry because God's house of worship had become a place of extortion and a barrier to Gentiles who wanted to worship. Similarly, Christians are right to be upset about sin and injustice and should take a stand against them. Today, as we journey together to the death and resurrection of Jesus, ponder upon these questions. 1. What thing or things really upset you that is stopping people from hearing the gospel and receiving justice? 2. What steps can you take to remove these barriers? May God grant to you an understanding of the significance of this passage and how you can apply it in your life this week.